The Shadow of Portofino.
Chapter 1. The Empty Nets. The sun was setting over the colorful village of Portofino. The water turned orange and purple. On a small blue boat named La Speranza, the Hope, two friends sat in silence. Marco, an old man with a white beard, looked at the empty nets. "Another bad day, Luca," Marco said, sighing. Luca, who was young and energetic, shook his head. "Don't worry, Marco. Tomorrow will be better. The sea is full of surprises." "Surprises don't pay the rent," Marco grumbled as he started the engine to return to the harbor. Chapter 2. A Midnight Disturbance. That night, they decided to fish later than usual. The moon was full, illuminating the dark water. Suddenly, the boat rocked violently. "Is it a wave?" Luca asked, holding on to the railing. "The sea is calm," Marco whispered, his eyes wide. Under the boat, a massive shadow moved. It was longer than a bus. Suddenly, a large green tail with shimmering scales rose from the water and slapped the surface, creating a huge splash. Then it disappeared into the depths.
Chapter 3. The Town Square. The next morning, Marco and Luca ran to the piazza, Town Square. They went straight to Giovanni's cafe, where all the fishermen gathered for espresso. "We saw a monster!" Luca shouted. "It was giant! It had green scales!" The cafe went silent. Then Giovanni laughed loud and clear. "Too much wine last night, Marco?" Giovanni joked. The other fishermen laughed too. "Go home and sleep, boys. There are no monsters in Italy." Chapter 4. The Determination. Marco felt humiliated. He sat on a bench near the pier, looking defeated. "They think we are crazy," Marco said. "It doesn't matter what they think," Luca replied firmly. "We know what we saw. We need proof. We need a camera." Marco looked at his young friend. "A camera and risk our boat again?" "We have to," Luca said, "or we will always be the crazy fishermen of Portofino." Chapter 5. Preparing the Bait. They spent the afternoon preparing. Luca borrowed a waterproof camera from his cousin. Marco prepared a special bait, a mix of sardines and squid, hoping the strong smell would attract the creature. "If this monster exists," Marco said, checking the fuel tank, "it must be hungry." The villagers watched them from the shore, shaking their heads and whispering. Chapter 6. The Long Wait. They returned to the same spot at sea. It was 2 a.m. The water was pitch black. They waited for hours. Nothing happened. "Maybe it was just a whale," Marco said, feeling tired. "Maybe Giovanni was right." "Wait," Luca said, pointing at the sonar screen. "Look at this red dot. Something is coming up fast." Chapter 7. The Beast Returns. The water began to bubble. Slowly, a long neck emerged from the waves. The creature was magnificent and terrifying. It had large yellow eyes and scales that glowed in the moonlight. Marco was frozen in fear, but Luca grabbed the camera. "Steady, Marco! Keep the boat steady!" Luca yelled. The creature looked at them with curiosity, not anger. It let out a low sound, like a deep horn. Chapter 8. The Evidence. The creature swam around the boat. It was close enough to touch. Luca snapped photo after photo. He captured the eyes, the scales, and the massive tail. "I got it!" Luca cheered. Suddenly, the creature dived back down, creating a wave that almost tipped the boat over. They were wet, Terrified, but triumphant, they had the pictures. Chapter 9. Vindication. When La Speranza arrived at the dock, it was morning. Giovanni and the others were preparing their nets. "Did you catch the imaginary monster?" Giovanni mocked. Luca didn't say a word. He walked to the cafe and connected the camera to the television screen used for soccer games. The image appeared. The cafe went silent. There, clear as day, was the sea serpent of Portofino. Chapter 10. The Secret. The town was in shock. Journalists wanted to come. Scientists wanted to investigate. However, Marco and Luca made a decision. "We proved we are not liars," Marco told the crowd, "but we cannot tell you exactly where it lives." "Why?" Giovanni asked, amazed. "Because," Luca smiled, looking at the sea, "it is a beautiful mystery, and we must protect it." The two friends became local legends, the guardians of the secret monster. The end.